Well, next to schools, and a number of petitions are circulating online calling for them to be closed too from Thursday, along with colleges and our region's universities. Our North West Metro mayors, Andy Burnham and Steve Rotherham, both say schools should close. They're supported by the biggest teaching union. We'll be hearing from their regional secretary in just a moment. But before that, our correspondent Amy Welch found that in many schools there is a determination to do what they can to stay open.
Fresh air is something children at Oakview Academy can't get enough of. PE gained an extra slot on the school timetable after the last lockdown, and teachers here say the impact of so much time away was severe.
We got children whose concentration span was much shorter. We got children who didn't know how to have a conversation with each other, how to play games with each other. We got children whose mental health had been affected, and they came back really anxious because they'd been taught in March that school was not a safe place to be.
For these boys and girls, news that their school will stay open during the new lockdown comes as a huge relief.
The PE lessons are fun, and we have lots of fun doing work. We have to social distance and sometimes wear masks.
And do you know why that
is? Because we need to keep safe. I don't like doing work at home, so I'd rather do it at school.
How did you feel when you couldn't come to school anymore because of lockdown?
Very bored, because there was mostly nothing to do in lockdown since we barely could go outside. And I was feeling very down because I couldn't see any of my friends.
Masks, shorter lessons, staggered breaks and extra cleaning are just some of the measures this school has put in place to keep its pupils safe. And while infection rates at primary schools appear to have stayed relatively low, in secondary schools it's a different story. And critics say keeping them open will keep us in lockdown for much longer.
If we are to break transmission, it will require a period of closure. And I would suggest a period of 2 weeks closure towards the second half of November, so that schools have time to prepare online learning. But that would create the conditions for the biggest drop in cases that we could achieve.
Scientists say COVID is spreading fast in secondary schools, and more than 150,000 teachers have now signed a petition calling for them to close. Meanwhile, Labour politicians say schools need more support.
I think children need to stay in school, but obviously schools need to be given proper support to make sure that they're COVID safe, that they're given the testing kits, that they're given the ventilation systems, that they're given proper support.
So far, there hasn't been a single case of COVID at this school. And while keeping youngsters safe is a balancing act, so too is their education. Amy Welch, ITV News, Winsford.